Go. All right, welcome back, everyone. It's lovely to see you all as always. And let's begin by going straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into your superpower state however you normally do that. Repeating your word or phrase or using your anchor, or by focusing in on everything you love and appreciate about your subject. Very good. Start to feel your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest. Very good. Allow that light to shine, and then feel that light, that energy. Imagine that light or energy spreading down to your toes, up to the top of your head, out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. And then allow that light or energy to spread, to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Good job. Now allow that light or energy to fill the little you, yourself as a child, any age. Love that child just for existing, no matter what. And feel that light, that energy, that love coming back to you from that little you. So this is a two-way flow. You're filling that little you with this love, and that little you is filling you with that love, that unconditional love, this connection between the two of you. Very, very good. And then allow that light or energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood, shining that light into any darkness and loving it all exactly as it is. That's where the power is. Filling everyone, everything, every event, every circumstance, every experience with this same light, this energy, this love, and feeling the power. Good job. Now allow that light or energy to fill everyone who's on the call today, all those who are on camera, all those who are off camera today, loving each one just for existing. Very good. All right, you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And I want to start today by answering a question from one of our, from a comment on one of the YouTube videos, because I actually only saw this comment yesterday, and she left it 5 days ago. So I'm usually quite quick with responding, but I think it was left over the weekend and I didn't get to see it until yesterday. So I replied to her on the YouTube channel to say I'll answer it in this morning's session. So her name is Jelka. And so Jelka, let's address your question. So it's quite a long message, and for anyone who wants more details, you can check it on the YouTube video, the comment section of the YouTube video, and perhaps Steve, we could put a link to that in the description of this one. So I'm going to just boil it down to the basics and answer from there. So basically, Jelka was taught by her father that you can't trust men, that men look at other women, and when they look at other women, it means that they are, that they're not treating you, they're humiliating the woman they're with. And so basically she had it kind of conditioned into her to never let her man look at other women. And she says she's now almost 50 years old and she still feels angry with all men, especially the young ones. Oh, sorry, no. She still feels angry with all men when they look at other women, when they'd rather watch other women, especially young women, instead of being with their wife, instead of their attention being with their wife, and so on. And so what she's asking is for some guidance on changing those references. And she mentions that she could only, the only stepping stone memory that she has so far is her father telling her that love is important to men, not looking at other women, but she doesn't feel that that's going to be enough. All right, so Jelka and everybody else who has similar references, where I would start is, it's clear that your father, his approach to this, his view, his perception, his belief in this is the way men are and that it's a bad thing, is based on, of course, his references. So I would start by questioning, what was his childhood like? Where did he learn this? How did he learn about this? And what was his mother like? So, because if I were to guess, I would say he was taught this by his mother. Now, I may be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. So where I would start is with his mum, so that she is very relaxed, very kind, compassionate, of course, and loving, and talks about the fact that everyone is basically good. So, men looking at other women, that is actually just nature. It doesn't mean anything unless we give it meaning, just like anything else. So, we may have had enough to eat, or we may have, we may be going to a birthday party with a cake, but if we like cake and we pass a bakery and there's cake, we're going to look at it, right? It doesn't mean that we don't want the cake we have. It just means that it's human nature to look at, and so the brain is wired that way. So it is mostly unconscious. When men look at women or women look at men, whichever way around it goes, it's going to depend on their own references as well, what programs are running in the background as to how much and what the feelings are and all of that. But it's important to start with the conscious, logical understanding that it is completely natural and it is unconscious. It's human nature, unless it's been conditioned out of the person. All right, so we start there. So there's no blame, and it is about our own references. So, and of course, you've done a great job, Jelka, of identifying where your reference is for this. So it's not something you're doing wrong. It's not your fault. But the great news is it's just a program that can be changed. So let's look at changing it. So I would start with your father's childhood, your father's mother, and you may need to change her childhood if necessary. But what you're aiming for is that your father grew up with a very healthy relationship with his parents, and his father, you can create memories of the family, so his father and mother and him as a child, and they're all out somewhere, perhaps on the beach, since that's one of the things you mentioned, and his father perhaps is looking at other women, and his mum is maybe teasing him about it. It doesn't mean anything, and she reinforces that in his father, in your father, in your father as a child. So that your father grows up with a very healthy attitude towards men, women, relationships, and all of that. And his parents have a very strong, healthy relationship. So there are memories and experiences of his parents being affectionate to each other, kind and compassionate and respectful to each other. There's lots of connection between his parents and him. Okay, so you want to establish that really strong foundation. And so you do whatever it takes to be able to create those memories. So you may need a due justice letter if necessary, if you find it's difficult to change them. You may need to use the generational childhood meditation video. So in fact, that's a good place to start, because you'll notice then what resistance comes up, if any. And you may need to do the allowing technique, which is also okay. So you're aiming to get to that, and whatever stops you from getting that, just use the other techniques to clear whatever's there. Once you've done that, then you can change your own childhood memories of your dad. So then, of course, same sort of thing. You want to end up with memories of your parents being very close, very affectionate, very kind and compassionate and respectful to each other, and encouraging and supportive of each other and of you. And again, similarly, have outings, create new memories of where you all go out. Your father is looking at others, somebody looks lovely, and so he looks at them, and your mum goes, teases him about it, and he hugs her and goes, well, that I'm just looking, it's just, so whatever will make it feel relaxed and comfortable and safe. So we're talking here about feeling safe. So because this is not about jealousy. Jealousy is about feeling safe. That's all. So this is not about being, oh, you shouldn't do it or anything like that. It's just about feeling safe. So when a partner looks at someone else, the biggest thing you can do is make sure that inside you, you feel you love you. So you're filling yourself and your cells with that unconditional love, that light, that energy. You are going to be fine anyway, no matter what they do. So that's the end result you're aiming for. But that's going to be hard to do with the existing memories. That's why we've got to change those memories first. Now, if you find any of that difficult to do, start by just allowing the feelings that are there. So you can just take a moment to feel that feeling of men look at other women and what that means to you. Then home in on the physical sensation of that feeling, whatever that feeling is, the fear, the jealousy, the anger, whatever's there. Boil it down to the physical sensation. Where in your body do you feel it? What does it feel like? Take out the meaning. Doesn't mean anything. There's no judgment. You don't need to make it stop. You don't need to make it change. Just allow it, and allow that physical sensation to be there for as long as it wants to. And then you can follow along with the allowing exercise in the other videos like this that we've done, to really go through the whole process until you feel it's changed, or until you've been able to make a connection with that part of you where it said, you say, what do you need? And you're able to give it that. And then you can go and change those memories. So I hope that's clear. And then, in fact, once you've done that, then imagine being on the beach and you're with someone who's looking at other people, and notice what happens inside you. And keep doing this process until you're able to, just in your own imagination, you're able to be in that situation, imagine that scenario, and you feel fine, you feel good. You've been able to maintain that feel-good state. Then you'll know you're ready to take the next step, whatever that is, towards actually handling it in real life. So I hope that helps, Jelka. Let me know if you need more clarification on that or more ideas. And you can always you can do it on the YouTube video. I will check this video. I will check the comments to make sure this time. Or you can go to our Facebook group, which we'll put the link in the description, and you can post there as well, and we will get those questions answered. So I hope that helps. All right, so now let's check in with each person here. And Lisa, hi Lisa, how are you doing today?
Fine, it's Feel Good Friday, yay. Oh, what you just said totally applies to how I grew up. My dad was very controlling with my mom, and she could even go out of the house and have friends or anything. It was really, really hard to watch. And
right. And that will be affecting you big time. So that's worth changing.
Yeah, so I took notes. So that'd be good.
And of course, anyone who is controlling like that, it's coming from their own. So your dad it will have been out of fear and insecurity as well as conditioning.
Yeah, because I did observe his parents, and now that I think about it, there was a lot of things that they did together that they didn't like. Like my grandmother would say to my grandfather, "Oh, you were looking at that person," blah blah blah, you know. And so, so it does.
It's coming from that insecurity, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
sorry, I just want to actually thank you, because I just want to identify this as well, because I was very insecure before. I would never say it because I didn't want anyone to, I didn't want to be vulnerable. But in the past, I would feel insecure if the person I was with would seem to be distracted, or, I would, if I felt like I'm just part of the furniture, they're not paying attention to me, or they're not listening to me, or they interrupted me. There was a whole, minefield of insecurity there. And one of the things I traced it back to at some point was that was being ignored as a child. So, speaking and nobody's paying attention, or being told to stop talking, not interested kind of thing, but mainly feeling ignored. And so I changed that. And what I found is that the more I built my own superpower, my own self-love, the less I cared, the less it mattered. Of course, care is not a good word, of course I care, but it didn't matter. So it meant that by the time I met Steve, I was so secure in myself that if Steve was to, he doesn't, but even if he did, I'm secure in myself that it wouldn't matter. So I would handle it in myself. So that's what we want to aim for, so that we feel completely self-sufficient. And then what we do is we're attracted to the people who match that, who will give us the attention, who will be kind and compassionate and respectful and all of that. We'll be attracted to that, which is why I was attracted to Steve, because Steve is the kind of person I would never have been attracted to in the past. So, and then, anyway, so that's the kind of, yes. So thank you for that. It's all about getting self-sufficient, and then everything around you changes. So thank you, Lisa, for reminding me of that in a way.
Yeah, I noticed too that it goes to how sensitive you are too, because if you're feeling, your antennas go up even more when you're ultra intuitive. So you're going, oh, well, I'm feeling this,
Mm-hmm.
And you're feeling a little too much, and then you have to be a sifter, like, what am I feeling, Yeah. So I wanted to read from here really fast.
Lovely.
So this is about, on page 64. So this is about manifesting. So I thought this was really cool. So let's say you want to manifest a new car. Here's the process you would use. You'd conjure up your power using the superpower exercise to fill yourself with unconditional love for yourself first. And you can't give it unless you're full of it yourself. You would then have your power overflow from you to fill the room you're in, and then you would send it to the car you want. And then you'd imagine seeing the car and see your power filling the car, overflowing the car, and filling the dealership or the lot or the garage or whatever it might be. You don't need to know where the car is. Just pick a place and use that for the exercise. Then see everyone, meaning anyone who might be there again, and you don't need to know who they are, being filled up with your power as well. So I thought that was cool because, in case you want to manifest something.
That's great. Yes. And of course, the important piece, and I don't know if I put it in there or how I put it in there, but is loving it all, the car, the place, the people, whether you get that car or not. Mm-hmm. So making sure that power is, that you're tuned into that power, which means that it's unconditional. That's fantastic. Happy doggies.
I know.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, sweetie. All right. And Swasti. Hi, Swasti.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. So all the stuff you've been talking about just now, like it doesn't really apply to me that much in this stage, but it's actually really interesting because so writing the due justice letter yesterday, so to like kidnappers and rapists and stuff, it made me really sad because it made me realize that, like, you know, it might just be, yeah, it's like the way they were raised was lack of affection and attention. So, you know, that I was like, oh, that feels so sad. So,
yeah. So, and that's a good point. So here's the thing is that we are, and I think I wrote this somewhere recently, but I don't know where. Oh, I think in an article. But our natural instinct, the human instinct, is to be kind, compassionate, and to connect and help. That's the way we are designed. But the one thing that will override that is the survival instinct. So priorities, survival, because if we don't survive, we won't be around to be kind and compassionate and connect. So it's survival first, and then right underneath that is connection, kindness, altruism, supporting others, community, and all of that, which is how the human race has progressed the way they have, and the way we've been able to, you know, create what we've created physically. So it's good to know that. So anything where somebody is not being kind, generous, compassionate, loving, supportive, all of those things is simply because there is a part of them that is in survival mode, and survival mode comes out in all kinds of ways. So it's not, you know, the brain can't tell the difference between being accepted or respected and physically surviving. So if someone feels disenfranchised, they're in survival mode. If someone feels they don't have what they need and something, they can't get it from outside of themselves, they're in survival mode. If someone feels somebody disrespected them or rejected them or betrayed them or anything, or they feel frustrated, they feel trapped, all of that, even if it's just emotionally or not physically, they're in survival mode, and that will then play out in whatever way it plays out, depending on what programs they have. So it does not, for a millisecond, excuse any behavior. It does not make it okay, and it does not excuse it. It's just that that's the way it is. Just like when a cat kills a mouse, we don't like it, but that's the instinct. So the best we can do is change our own experience of that. So thank you, Swasti, for that. And so did you have any, so how did that go then with the letter writing?
Yeah, I didn't, like I barely felt any anger, but I just kept writing.
Good.
I was writing. And then it came to a point where I just felt sorry for them, so it was easy to change that.
Very good. So you've managed to change those references, whatever they were.
Yeah, it was like rape in the village and kidnapping to Disneyland with the glitter.
Good job. Yay. Well done, Swasti. And how do you feel now about all of that?
Yeah, it feels good. Like I have some other ones to address, but just having tackled those is good.
Okay, good. And now let me ask you how you're feeling about the test on Monday.
I don't know, like I feel like if I had an option of taking it like in 2 hours, I'd take it now and just get it finished.
Yeah.
I don't really like this weight of the weekend, even though I still have things to do, but I don't know.
All right, so now let me ask you this. What are you looking forward to most after the test?
Probably coming on this call.
Getting back on this call. So what time is the test?
10:30 to
10:30, and then this call is at 4 o'clock your time, right?
Yes.
So what are you going to do between the end of the test and 4 o'clock?
Well, I have some, like I have to sort out the, like for the volunteering, the tutoring thing I'm doing.
Oh, yes.
Oh no, 4 o'clock I have the DBS check thing, so they're checking my DBS and stuff. So I'll be like half an hour late.
Okay.
I think that was the only time she had, but then I'll be coming here. in the middle, I have to think about taking the other exam and the decision on that, and also getting university's numbers ready and getting my personal statement sorted in the meantime, because the deadline's in 2 weeks for the whole application process.
Okay.
Get organized.
All right. So we're going to see you when you get on the call on Monday, and you're going to be organizing your volunteering thing, right? After the test.
Everything else apart from, yeah.
Okay. So the volunteering thing, the tutoring thing, are you looking forward to that?
No, I'm just going to be showing documents via the video call.
Okay. All right. So what I'm looking for is something that you can look forward to that's pretty much immediately after the test. So you finish the test, and we want something that you can look forward to, that's going to mean it's done and this is great, and now I get to whatever, relax, do something fun, speak with a friend, something that is wonderful that you can keep your focus on as the end result, rather than worrying about everything leading up to that.
Okay. I could probably organize watching a movie, but the thing is, I'll be by myself. Like my mum, my brother, and my sister are in school. My mum works there. It's just my dad and me at home.
Perfect. That's okay. So what do you like to do when you watch a movie? Do you watch it in your room, or in the lounge, or how do you watch it?
Yeah, the TV room.
Fantastic. And so which movie are you going to watch? Is there a movie you've been wanting to see that you haven't yet?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I watched a movie.
And that's okay. So, and you don't have to answer that now, but what I would do is, after this call, I would find a movie that you're going to watch and prepare. So go, okay, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to get nice and cozy, or however you like to watch a movie. I'm going to have this to eat or drink while I watch the movie. Have something that's going to be a treat that you're really looking forward to, and know which movie you're going to watch, so that whenever you think of the exam, you can move your focus. It's okay to think of the exam, but also put your focus on, after the exam, the nice stuff.
Okay.
The fun, the good, the things you're looking forward to. Because again, we're designed to focus on the danger. So it's natural to think about what could go wrong, or the things that we have to do, that we don't want to do, or that we're worried about, or all of that kind of thing. But so we have to make that conscious effort, that intention, to look at the things we're looking forward to.
Okay.
Right. Does that sound good? Okay, so that's that. And then, of course, the second bit is, I want you to imagine now that you're doing the exam, you're starting the exam. How does that feel?
I feel butterflies.
Butterflies, good. Now, allow those butterflies to be there, because they don't mean anything.
Yeah, they dissipated as soon as you finish the sentence.
Good, good, good. So one of your tasks this weekend is to keep thinking about sitting down to do the exam, noticing what happens inside you, and allowing it. Just keep doing that over and over and over. And if you find it's difficult to just allow it, you can use your color or whatever, but just allow whatever's there. So if you find it's difficult to allow it, allow the difficult to allow it. Allow whatever comes up, just practice that over and over. Think of the exam, think of doing the exam, think of anything you're worried about, and allow whatever's there. Just keep allowing over and over. And every time you do that, you're conditioning your brain and body to bring down those stress chemicals in connection to that exam, keeping your prefrontal cortex online. You will do better in the exam if you do this.
Okay.
For that reason.
Yeah, it's just freaking me out, because they have like these interim scores, which is like, so halfway through the testing cycle, they would release the averages, and the average is much higher this year. And I just feel like, well, that's kind of a good thing, because it means that it's easy. but then you have to get a higher score overall. I just feel like, I don't know, I don't want to be left behind.
Good. And so now allow that. So let's say you don't get that highest. So they release the averages and the averages are higher and all of that. And you now have to get a higher score, but you don't, and allow that. What happens when you allow that?
It's just quite hard to breathe.
Good. And allow that feeling of hard to breathe. Can you do that? Doesn't mean anything. It's just a sensation. You don't need to, it's okay for it to be there. You don't need to make it go away or make it change. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Good. So just practice that. Practice allowing, so whatever comes up. So like, that's a great example, thinking of the averages and the fact that you have to get a higher score. Think of that, notice what's happening inside you and allow whatever it is. Bring your focus down to the fact that it's just a sensation. Doesn't mean anything, and allow it. And the more you do that over and over again, over this weekend, it's great that you've got the weekend to do this.
Okay.
So that by the time Monday comes, your brain and body have made that connection between being calm and allowing and the exam, doing the exam, and anything else that's connected to it.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good. I will do that this weekend. Yeah, I'm glad you said that actually. I could use that now.
And so whenever you feel like, oh, I don't know what to do, or I've got so much to prepare, do that. That's the one thing you can always come back to that is actually going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
All right. So you can put a note up for yourself in case you forget, because when we get a little bit more stressed, we forget, like, what are we supposed to do now, or what can we do now? So you can put a little post-it note for yourself somewhere to remind yourself, just put allow, and then, or whatever words are going to remind you, and then just keep doing that, allowing. Right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel now when you think of all of that?
Yeah, it's okay. It will go well. Because so going with my logic, if it's in the IQ exam, you can't really improve your IQ if I use that logic, which is not there anymore. But so I should technically get an average again. And if I get an average, I can apply to so many good universities because I have achieved grades, and the achieved grades are good. Like universities that I wished I could have applied to before, I can apply to now.
Fantastic. That's great. Now, I want to add to that the fact that you can improve your IQ score. And the reason is because when you did the test before, you didn't have your full prefrontal cortex online. You didn't have your full cognitive thinking online.
Definitely.
So you did, it's like you did those tests blindfolded, and now you're going to do it where you can see everything.
Yeah.
But of course you can improve the score. Right? So whatever score you got before, you got without the full access to your cognitive thinking. So even if your actual IQ doesn't change, how you do on the test can absolutely change because of that.
Definitely. Yeah, I've seen that in so many examples. Like when you said this to me the first time, 3-4 months ago, I could see that even though I was unprepared for some exams like before, I got a better score in them, like religious studies, which I really, really enjoyed. I just like the philosophical aspect of it, everything. I wasn't that prepared, but I got one of the best in the country, not just in my school. Whereas something like maths, I was like, so I needed to do well in maths. I needed to get a certain grade, so that was the pressure. So I didn't do one of the best in the country, but I did like one of the best in my school. But it still wasn't as good as religious studies.
Religious studies. Right, and the huge difference there is you love the religious studies. So that's why we also want to find ways to love or enjoy what you're doing. And the truth is, the better we are at something, the more we like it as well. So that becomes a vicious cycle. So you get good at something, you like it because you're good at it, which means you get better at it, and so it perpetuates. So finding things that you look forward to and you love, and one of the ways to do that as well is to practice on things that are much easier, tasks that are much easier than you can handle, so that you get that dopamine hit. So you're doing the really easy stuff and you're getting it right, and allow yourself. So rather than saying, oh, well, it's too easy or that kind of thing, just allow that dopamine hit and build little by little by little. And each time you achieve that tiny step forward, you're getting another dopamine hit, which will help you enjoy it more, which will make you better at it. And so it will progress.
Yeah, I definitely use that for the English section, which I did not like.
Great. There you go. So I'm so proud of you, Swasti. Really, really. I'm and very excited for you.
Yeah.
And
the other results just felt like a blur, but it happened. Yeah.
Yes.
It's great.
And so keep reminding yourself of that, and also keep, put little reminders for yourself where you can see them to remind you of the progress you've made. So whether that's on this, the scores you got that you weren't expecting, that were so much better than you were expecting, or the how much easier something was than you expected it to be, that kind of thing, to really reinforce that it is all about chemicals. That's all it's about. Because if you've got the feel-good chemicals in your system, you have your prefrontal cortex online, you have access to everything you've learned before.
Yeah, some of the things are so subconscious that it just comes in the moment and you think, oh wow, I didn't know you.
Right, exactly. And not just you don't just have access to all the knowledge and the facts that you've learned before, you have access to the processing. The skills and the ways of processing information that you don't have when you're in stress, when you've got stress chemicals in your system. So whatever, however you calculate information or assess or comprehend, all of that is to do with having that part of your brain online.
Yeah, this is my first test of this, having my prefrontal cortex online in an exam. Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too. I can't wait to see you on Monday. And of course, top priority, make sure that you also imagine not getting the score you want. Imagine it does go badly and feel good about that, because that is what's also going to keep those stress chemicals down.
Yeah.
So you can imagine getting on the call with us and saying, it didn't go well. And notice what happens inside you. Allow it. Go through that process and see if you can get to a point where you can love that worst case scenario. Love that, because what loving the worst case scenario does is it takes the danger away, takes the threat away, because you know what the worst thing is. You're at peace with that. Therefore, you can get on with the fabulous stuff.
Yeah. Also, I got my kind of lost the superpower feeling 2 weeks ago. So I treated it like an injury and physical sort, and I've got it back now. It's very intense again, which is so good.
Yay! That's perfect, and that's exactly the way to do it. So thank you for sharing that, because that's really good example and advice for others as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Swasti, and thank you for being here. We so appreciate you, and we're so proud of you.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you.
Good job, you sweetheart. And so very good. And so now moving on to, so Steve, questions. I'm seeing questions. I like to take it even further to where it is for us women, also completely normal and safe to look at others without the need to act upon it. Yes. I think that from the beginning of life that men look because they want to procreate, and we women look because we need to find the perfect partner. We are still cavemen and women. Yes. So that's a good point, Ilya. And yes, so it's not about the looking. It's about what's going on inside for everybody, for the person looking, for the person who's looking at someone looking, and all of that. It's about the meaning we give. So it is a natural instinct, but but the meaning we give it is what makes it, is what determines the results we get. So thank you, Ilya, for that again. And What else have we got? Question. Hi, Odille. Sometimes when I am remembering a real memory from my childhood, the good feeling is stronger than the feeling of the new ones that I'm creating now. Talking about positive memories, not bad ones. Why do you think this can be? Oh, you can say my name always. Okay, Camila. Thank you, Camila, for sharing this question. So I would say it's because you're focusing, when you have a new memory, I mean, a real memory, you have resources regarding that memory that are providing the emotional context. So for example, if I remember when my son was born, I can remember, I've got a visual, I can remember where I was, I can remember what he looked like, and immediately as I think of it, I get the emotions of love and relief that he's okay, and I can remember the smells and the sounds and everything. I've got all of those resources in that memory. Now, if I think of a new memory, so from when I was a child, and let me see which one, I've got so many now. Yeah, the new memory of where I grew up, which is a beautiful house with a swimming pool and all of that. Now, as I remember that, I can feel the feeling of the house, the atmosphere. I've got a visual of my little desk, the window overlooking the garden with the pool, and I can feel the feeling of being in the pool. I can feel the feeling of the excitement of coming down to breakfast, and my parents are there and their faces light up when I walk in. So I'm drilling down to the details to create the feeling. So you don't need details in general. What you're looking for is the feeling which comes with the details. So what I would say is spend a little more time on those new memories, creating the feelings, making the feelings stronger. And what you can do is you can borrow the good feelings from the real memories. So go to a real good memory, home in on the feelings, whatever the feelings are, and send them to the new memory. So that's one way of doing it. And it is just practicing. So remembering that when you connect those neurons, that neural network of the original real good memory, it's triggering the matching chemicals. It's triggering those feel-good chemicals in your system. Then when you do the same with the new memory, it's exactly the same process. You're connecting neurons. Both of them are neurons, and it doesn't matter whether the thing happened or not. It makes no difference. It's exactly the same process. You just want to do it with a little more intention, and it will produce the same feel-good chemicals. So if you haven't yet, I highly recommend everyone watch that video that we shared in the last, in yesterday's description of yesterday's recording on false memories. So the TEDx talk by Julia Shaw, and it's called Is Your Memory Illusion, or something like that. Something like that. Anyway, Steve will put the link in the description to this video, and it's in the description of yesterday's video. And she talks about the fact that your brain cannot tell the difference between something that really happened and something that you are or a false memory. And she's managed, because of that, she's managed to convince people they committed crimes they never committed. They were never there, they never committed them, but they are able to give the details of why they committed the crime, how they felt, the sights, the smells, the sounds, the tastes, everything. And they believe it because they weren't told that this was an experiment. So it just shows you the potential. So it's about, because we're doing it ourselves, rather than someone else doing it without our knowledge, we are creating these so-called false memories. We need to get our conscious mind out of the way and allow. That's the difference. So I hope that helps, Camilla, but if you need more, I was watching yesterday's recording, and the thing of playing those memories 3 times a day for 3 weeks, maybe I have to create less. Thank you, Camilla, for reminding me. So watching that video again, I realized she didn't say 3 times a day. That's my fault. I got that wrong. She said 3 times over 3 weeks. And I realized, listening to it again, I realized what she was actually saying was she was seeing those people 3 times a week for 3 weeks. And when they came into her office, she would get them to tell her the story. So the way she got them, the way she managed to implant these false memories is she would say to them, don't you remember, so you remember when you attacked this person with this weapon? And they would go, no. And then what she would do is she would say to them, so, okay, so, can you imagine what it would have been like? And from their perspective, they thought she was trying to help them remember something they'd forgotten, which made them willing to imagine the scenario. And as they imagined it 3 times a week for 3 weeks, every time they came in, they would imagine it again, tell her the stories and so on. That established those new memories. Now, of course, although she was only seeing them 3 times a week, when she would ask them about these memories and get them to recount them, their brain would definitely have been playing it through in between, because they, from their own perspective, they were trying to rack their brains to try and remember this incident that they were supposed to have done. So, and you can imagine that there would have been strong emotions because, oh my God, how can I forget attacking someone? That's terrible. And so their brain was trying to remember. And by trying to remember, it was creating. So she was talking about 3 times a week with her, but their brains would definitely have been working on it in between. So you can use the 3 times a day as a guide. Like you say, fewer memories and spend more time replaying them. Definitely, and there is no rule for this. So I would say pick 2 memories to start with. 2 memories that are foundational, that you feel need to be really strong. And then and again, it doesn't have to be sit down with your eyes closed and taking time out to do them. Just let them daydream while you're doing other things, while you're doing chores, while you're walking or doing exercise. When you're watching TV, you can just pause during the commercial break, or mute during the commercial break and just play a new memory. So it doesn't have to be regimented. It can be relaxed and enjoyable. So I hope that helps. I create a lot of new ones, but I feel that I don't spend enough time replaying them. Yes, so perhaps see that as a gift to yourself, to allow yourself to pick 1 or 2 and replay those until the emotions are really strong, and you can they come naturally and automatically, and then move on to the next ones. Sorry, Steve.
No, I was just gonna. The point that you were making there about that video, about how she would have the subjects come in and tell their story, and I'm remembering the work that we did with another client where after we changed the memories, she was telling me the new memories.
Oh, yes.
And then she said, okay, could you please tell them back to me? Could you tell me my story back to me? So I think there's real power in telling the story and then hearing the story back. So I'm just a reminder again that, you can record the story. If there's nobody there that you can share the story with, record the story and listen to it back. Your subconscious isn't going to know that is, but you're hearing those words back. And I believe that those are powerful for us to hear those stories.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve. That is very powerful. And then I also want to read out something that Swasti has just said. Swasti says, one of the major things that helped me a lot with practicing memories was tying it in with things you already do. Example, every time you drink water, you practice 3 memories that you've changed. So that is the way to do it, really, because you're like she says, you're already doing the thing. So like brushing your teeth or making coffee, like she says, every time you drink water. And you may need to put reminders for yourself to begin with. So a little post-it note on the tap or behind the bathroom door or whatever, on your toothbrush, on your pillow, to remind yourself until your brain links that as a habit. Now, in addition to that, so what Steve has just said, so if you record your new memories, and depending on the person, you can just speak them into your phone, or you can type it out and then read it into your phone, whatever feels comfortable for you. It'll be different for different people. And then putting these two things together, as Swasti said, every time you drink water, play it. Or every time you go to the loo, play it on your phone. So have your earphones in and play it. So that if you do that, it'll make it easier and it'll establish it as a habit faster.
And one other quick idea is to utilize the new memory garden, the Facebook group.
Yes,
and you can share the new memory, like you would be sharing any other post. It's like, let us know, tell us about the new memory, tell us about those things. And the act of doing that, again, is empowering, and your subconscious can't tell the difference anyway.
That's it. Exactly. Yes. So thank you very much, everybody, for that. And thank you, Camila, for asking that question, because that's going to help a lot of others as well. All right. And she says, thank you, Odille and Steve. I will do that. Very good. Good job. Okay. And so are there any other questions, Steve, or are we ready to target? Ready to target. All right, then. So let's take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And allow yourself to go into that superpower state. Start feeling your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest. Allowing that light, that energy to start shining out from you. Very good. Now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Good job. Now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. Now allow that light, that energy to fill your subject. And then imagine your subject doesn't want to be with you or doesn't have the qualities you love and appreciate in them. And keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Very good. Now allow that light, that energy to fill Lisa. Fill Lisa from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. And Lisa's added us to the target list. Thank you, Lisa. So targeting Odille and Steve's concerns and for everyone else. And super beautiful outcomes, especially for the weekend. So aiming at all of that, filling all of that with light, whether it turns out as wanted or not. So shining that light into any darkness and loving everything, everyone, every outcome, no matter what. Loving it all exactly as it is. Feeling that power as you do that. Very, very good. Good job. And now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with this same light, this energy. From the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips, love Swasti, just for existing. And allow this light, this energy to overflow from Swasti and fill her IQ exam on Monday. The results, no matter what the results are, shining this light into any darkness, loving it all exactly as it will be. Her focus, her health, any distractions, noise, and Wi-Fi. And she mentioned she's sitting the exam at home, so whatever happens, loving it all exactly as it is, shining light, filling it all with that light, that energy, that love, no matter what, exactly as it is. And seeing that Swasti, that version of Swasti sitting at home, doing the exam, filling that version of Swasti with this light, this energy, this love, exactly as she is, and no matter how she does with the exam. Just loving it all, loving her, and allowing that light to overflow from her and fill everything else, no matter what. Very, very good. And then Camila, fill Camila with this same light, this energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Camila, just for existing. Very, very good. Good job. And now to all those who are off camera today and all those watching the recording, fill each one with this light, this energy, this love, loving each one just for existing no matter what. Loving them exactly as they are. And allowing this light, this energy to overflow from each person and fill their lives. Everything, everyone, every circumstance, every event, every experience, shining this light into any darkness and loving it all exactly as it is, no matter what, feeling the power of that. And then yourself later today and over the weekend, fill that version of you with this light, this energy, this love, no matter what you'll be doing or feeling or experiencing. Loving that version of you anyway, regardless. And surge. Very good. And surge again. Good job. Very good. And you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And we will see you back on Monday morning, same time, same place.
Hey, Odille, let me just interrupt because there's a good little response as well from Ilya that I think is a nice add-on here in regarding ways to rehearse or work with the memories.
Mm-hmm.
Or imagine your parents or siblings or whoever is involved in most of your memories in front of you, and then in your mind or out loud start saying, do you remember when we blank, blank, blank? And then fill in the blanks with all the memories, and you all laugh and feel good feelings, even though it's all just in your mind.
That is fantastic. Thank you, Ilya. That is perfect. And I'll tell you what, my brother, my sister, and I were doing that. So especially my sister and I, and then we were texting my brother, remember when this and that, the other. So that's perfect. But just imagining your siblings and your parents and that doing that. Great, great suggestion. Thank you, Ilya. All right, everybody. So have a fantastic weekend. Swasti, we will be with you during that exam. We're going to be thinking of you. And so on Monday morning, it will be early here, but I will be thinking of you the whole weekend anyway. All right. And we will be with you no matter what. All right, sweetheart. Good job, everyone. And we will see you on Monday. Bye.